Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? Bro, I think the chat is broke. Yeah, I see that. I think the chat is broke. Yeah, I see that. I don't know what the hell is going. See, the PlayStation chat is broke. Yeah, I'm gonna just take the chat off the screen. Or just like use text to speech or something. Or just like use text to speech or something. Because I don't know why it's doing that. Or just like use text to speech or something. Because I don't know why it's doing that. Hey, what's up, Edward? Hey, what's up, Edward?
Volume down. Maximum volume low. Normal.
Okay.
Hey. Haitian.
Alright.
Haitian. Haitian.
God damn it all to hell! I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it's doing this, but... Like, the PlayStation chat is really just... Like, the PlayStation live chat system is just fucked up. PlayStation live chat system is just fucked up. Alright, so are you guys still in the chat? I'm gonna just have to look at it from my phone. Alright, so are you guys still in the chat? I'm gonna just have to look at it from my phone. Type 1 in the chat if you're still there. Alright. Type 1 in the chat if you're still there. Yeah, I just turned the thing off. I might have to restart this whole entire PlayStation because I don't know why it's doing that. I was watching my favorite horror show called The Nightmare. Yeah, I know because I'm watching the stream. Like, I have the stream playing on my phone so I could see you guys' comments. See, I don't know why it's repeating the same. I might have to. I think what I'm gonna do after a few battles is restart the match. Well, not restart the match, but restart the stream. I might have to restart my game and then just like restart the stream. Cause I don't know why it's doing that. Like, the shit is glitching. Goddamn healers. Alright. There we go. Nah, you ain't flying. Nah, bring your ass here. Bring your ass here. So, Dragon, I finally got past Nightmare in the 20th mission, by the way. I know you had seen my event on Twitter. I finally got past Nightmare, and I'm fighting Mundus right now, and that guy honestly is nothing's repeating. Yeah, I turned down the volume, by the way. Like, I turned down the volume from my phone right after Hood Otaku acknowledged the echoing. I turned down the volume. But anyways, so I beat Nightmare finally. I had to get absorbed by him and then beat the that armored sword thing, the D'Angelo, whatever you call that thing. Then I just had to use a crap ton of holy waters to get its health down. And then finally, when I had started getting him to low health, then Trish freaking betrays me for some reason. So I have to dodge her lightning and at the same time fight Nightmare, so I ended up dying. But I think on the try after that, I ended up getting it down. So I'm right now on the 22nd mission. Yeah, Nero Angelo. I finally beat, like, because the boss inside is like really easy and it takes a crap ton of damage. So it's like once you beat that, then it's like you take away a good chunk of its health. You take away a good chunk of Nightmare's health. So I know I have the Cormalink mode, but still. This form looks kind of cool, but it just isn't for me, you know? I guess the, whatchamacallit, the 8 Tails Chakra mode kind of fits me more. I was just testing it out to see how I looked in it, and it doesn't really look too bad, but at the same time, it just isn't for me. But anyways, as I was saying, so I finally got past Nightmare. It took me a crap ton of tries and a shit ton of frustration, of which I vented on Twitter about it. Because I think Zephy, if I'm pronouncing his name right, had explained some things to me. And he even made a hot take saying that DMC1 is better than DMC4, which I can kind of respect his opinion, but DMC4 wins a lot of battles over that game, if you ask me. Like, the bosses are actually fair. You can carry more than one healing item. The combat mechanics are improved, as well as the graphics and the Devil Trigger design. And then it's like, don't even get me started on what Nero does to the bosses and the enemies. So there's a lot that DMC4 wins over 1, no cap. I'm still pissed about the Hero Festival. A lot of people are. Ironically, there's a video tutorial on how to do it, by the way. Someone made a video on how to do it. So, I think if Bandai catches wind of it, they'll pretty much patch it. So, I highly doubt that we'll be able to use it the next time Hero Festival comes around. At least DMC4 is balanced. That's the thing. DMC4 has a lot more balance to it. And did I mention the camera angle and how if you move to certain areas with Dante, you basically can't see the enemy. When I was on the 20th mission, I had to fight those ice things that actually are in DMC4 too. But I had to fight those little ice demons, and I moved to a specific area to where I could see Dante, but not the enemy. So I kept getting hit, and I didn't know where the hits were coming from. So DMC1's camera angle is also a problem for me. So I respect Zephy's opinion, but I strongly disagree. I feel like while DMC 1 and 2 have battles and areas in which they have superiority over each other, I feel like DMC 4 has way more areas to where it's superior than DMC 1. Because both games are outdated, but DMC 4 is a game that rectifies most of DMC 1's issues, so I don't think it's superior. But again, Zephy is my go-to guy when it comes down to information about DMC, basically about the Devil May Cry franchise as a whole. So I respect his opinion, but again, there's so much in DMC 4 that rectifies that. Like, DMC 4 not only rectifies DMC 1's problems, but it adds more to the mechanics that DMC 1 had to offer. So nah, I don't think it's better than DMC. Although DMC 4, if there's one problem that I can kind of understand why people hate, I don't really consider it a problem, but other people hate it, and that's fine. I understand why. It's the fact that there are no new levels. like, you basically replay the same levels over and over again. It's like you basically play through 11 missions as Nero, right? And then once you start playing as Dante, all the bosses and enemies that you faced as Nero, you have to fight them again as Dante. Now, to me, I can look at this from a positive angle because I kind of like to take on bosses as other characters and fight them with different fighting styles, because that's what makes the game kind of interesting. To me, it's like an anime protagonist fighting a villain from a completely other anime. From a completely different anime. Like, think of it like Ichigo versus Akainu from One Piece, or who Naruto versus Aizen or Okuiara or something within that. So you should play Days Gone. It's so good. If the game, how much does it cost? Bitch, you forget I got the dynamic entry, which it's somewhat unfair but more balanced than most moves, so I ain't really complaining. That's because they didn't have enough time to develop more unique areas and enemies for both characters. And I can understand that. Like, when I played through the DMC story for the first time and used Dante, I never took issue with that. Like I said, I looked at it like another anime protagonist taking on an anime villain outside of his universe. That's how I always saw it. It's like my favorite fight to do was Kratos, and I loved doing it as Virgil. Like, Kratos versus Virgil is a good fight, especially if it's like, because Virgil himself was a boss fight in DMC3, and I think most of his attacks are like, they're basically from DMC3. So it's basically like boss fight versus boss fight. You play as one boss character to battle another one, so I never really took issue with that. It's like $20. Alright, I'll look into it. Ah! I have no subs. And my movement is altered. My move controls are altered. I hate the nervous system rupture, no cap. I love when it wears off, but I hate when people land it. Part of the reason why I have the Sharingan, because I honestly was going to build another moveset other than the Sharingan. Then I realized that there are other moves that I probably won't be able to dodge on my own. See, this right here is what you never do. If you're carrying the flag in Shinobi Striker, don't ever stop just to ult someone, because someone can attack you and smack the flag right out of your hands. Unless you're a G or like have one person chasing you and that person's low health. Other than that, if that's not the case, don't ever stop to use an ultimate on someone. You will have the flag snatched away from you. Look how fast I move. I'm the yellow flash now. Pop! I want to see Virgil from 4 be made a boss fight in a 3 mod, or Capcom remakes 3 with Virgil's moveset. I mean, that would be dope. Then we could basically fight him as Nero. You know, if they ever plan on making another Devil May Cry game, it should be based off Nero's origins, to be honest. Because I'm pretty sure there's few people with the option that Oh, not the option. I cannot speak, bro. I always fuck my words up or just like add the wrong words to my sentences. Please forgive me for that. I can't speak for jack shit. But anyways, a lot of people had the opinion that Devil May Cry 5 should have been based off Nero's origin. Honestly, I kind of agree because we were given little to no information about Nero's origin, so I feel like the next Devil May Cry game, if they plan on making one, should be based on Nero's origin so we can learn a little bit more about him. Because, I mean, Devil May Cry did take a good step in improving his character. Because in Devil May Cry 4, he was just kind of, like, I wouldn't say he was all the way bland, but just, we knew him as this hothead who was basically rageful. And I think there's a novel about Nero's arm, about how Nero's arm went up. I gotta check it out, because if there's any information about Nero, I want to know it ASAP, because, like, Nero is, like, he's basically my favorite character. Like, when I first seen him, like, okay, a lot of fans who are used to Dante being the main character didn't like him because of his, basically because of his character. Like, I was watching this one video by this one guy singing Devil May Cry 4, and he basically stated how he didn't really, he hated Nero. And I was just thinking, like, being a hothead is somewhat part of the character flaws of a, basically part of the flaws of a character who's gonna develop, so I wouldn't really see that as a good reason to hate Nero because he's such a hothead and just throws insults when he's still kind of young and GNC or something like that. Alright, I'll check it out. No! See, he's got the... See, when someone has the teleportation jutsu and the Chidori, two moves that honestly have a, like, I wouldn't say a wide range, but they could just take you far. You pretty much lost. Like, I know I have Flying Raijin and teleportation jutsu. Goddamn, I've recovered more flags than all my teammates. That's crazy. I know I have, like, the Flying Raijin jutsu and then the, whatchamacallit, the teleportation, but my move comes with a counter. You need the water wall or the sand shield to counter that build, as well as good skill in defense. Because myself and most Flying Raijin users, they're usually just going to teleport back once they see themselves under attack, because it works as an extra substitution mechanic. Basically, a mechanic that helps you escape combos and maintain as much health. Who made the Sin video? Oh shit. See, this is what I mean. I can't speak. I'll send you the link. Everything wrong with Devil May Cry 4. I don't think it was... I think it was GNC. I could be wrong.
This is the power of a demon. Oh, you're just gonna completely ignore it again. Hey.
Oh, no. I've seen GNC. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was this guy named Dartagon. And let me tell you, bro, when I seen them comments, as well as the fact that the dislikes weren't too far behind, well, they were still somewhat far behind. The dislikes weren't too far behind. Well, they were still somewhat far behind. Like, they were still somewhat far behind, but, you know, it was like 1,000 dislikes and like 4,000 likes, and I looked at the comments. Yeah, Dartagon. That guy. So he's the one who stated how he didn't like Nero because of how much of a hothead he was. And it's like my whole thing is it's part of one's character flaws. Like, let's look at Damian Wayne, right? So Damian Wayne in the DC comics or in the movies, whatever, he basically at first glance, he's a hothead. You know, he doesn't listen to orders, but as he, you know, hangs around a new group of people, and as he basically develops into a nicer person. Like, let's look at the Justice League Dark Apocalypse. And if you haven't seen that movie, you might pause this stream or click off this stream. But most likely pause it, though. Pause it for like a few minutes, because I'm only gonna state only 2 examples. But like in that movie, he basically states how he had feelings for Raven, and even when Darkseid temporarily killed him, when he's being held in Batman's hands, he says justice, you know, not vengeance. So Damian Wayne kind of took on the teachings of his father and grew more nicer. Now, let's compare that to Nero, who, I guess he's still the same hothead, but he's way more chilled in Devil May Cry 5. I've noticed that. He's way more chilled, and he, at the end of the game, stopped Dante and Virgil from killing each other. So, my point is that some characters will go from a complete hothead to someone who's like way more chill than nice. Dante was just as much of a hothead as Nero when he was younger, so I don't know what his problem... See, that's the thing! That's my whole thing. It's like a perfect example right there. Like, being a hothead is part of one's character flaws. Like, ask yourself this question. Would you rather a character be a hothead with normal character flaws, or be a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu, as they say, with no flaws? Because if it means Nero not being a Gary Stu, I'd rather him be a hothead. I like the fact that Nero was a hothead was the reason I got into him, and the reason I liked him so much. Because he reminded me somewhat of Galen Merrick. And I've seen videos of the Force Unleashed storyline, and that's the only half of Star Wars that I actually care about, is the Force Unleashed video game. So Nero, with how angry he is and how he basically treats his... I like that about him. I like how he treats his opponents. What got me into him was how, when he fought Dante for the first time in Devil May Cry 4, punches him, smashes him to the ground, and then just beats him senselessly, throws him into the wall, and then throws his sword at him. Like, bro, when I seen that scene for the first time, that shit had me hyped, bro. And then an even better scene, like in Devil May Cry 4, or not 5, the 4 more Mary Sues and Gary Sues bother me. I usually don't use that word. I don't use those words either. But I looked up that term, and apparently a Mary Sue is a character that doesn't have any flaws or whatever. That's just so perfect and overpowered. And Nero isn't like that, so I would rather him have character flaws than him to be this perfect, overpowered character that has no development of some sorts, is basically what I'm trying to say. Someone being a hothead or whatever is part of their character development. That's why I don't understand what this guy is saying when he says, "Oh, Nero's just some hothead that throws a bunch of..." Like, that shit ain't make sense to me. Especially when he's not like... Now, granted, the video was created before the date of Devil May Cry 5, so I'll cut him some slack. I can't really use Devil May Cry 5 as any examples to strengthen my counter arguments against this guy when the video was made before Devil May Cry. It was either made before they started making Devil May Cry 5 or before it was even thought of. I mean, while it was in production. When you say former or the letter, it's referring to the choice between the two things. Oh! But either way, it's just... it's like I would rather have Nero be how he is in Devil May Cry 4 than have him be, because again, his character, the game was just kind of bland, you know. His character was just kind of bland in a sense. Like his relationship with Kyrie was somewhat kind of bland. They didn't really have too much, well, they didn't really have too much dialogue, which is understandable because they didn't really see each other that much. And the next time Nero had saw Kyrie, I think she was captured by what's that guy's name? Agnes, I think. Yeah. She was captured by Agnes. But hold on, I'm gonna restart this stream because I don't like the comment section is broken. Basically, I don't know why. It's basically like 200 something comments of repetition. I don't know why it's doing that. Give me a minute. You guys can join back after I restart it, but give me a sec.